Hi, Elle.
Hi,
Hi, I'm Emily. It is so nice to meet you, hon.
it's good to meet you too. Thanks so much for having this setup where you do one-on-one consults. I think that's really unique and great.
It's like my favorite part of the day, honestly. Like, yeah, it brings me so much joy to like see the customers and then be able to help. And it's what I wish every company was doing. So I figure, why not us? Hopefully others will follow in our lead.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
Thanks. So the way this works is we'll first kind of talk through like what's worked for you in the past. It's super informal. I read through your questionnaire, so understand you're trying to get like the curls to last longer and like there's some
Mhm.
issues with like poofs and stuff. So we'll
Yeah.
definitely dive into that. And then we'll go into wrapping the headband together to make sure it's like comfortable and secure and like achieving the type of curls you're looking for. But yeah, that's pretty much how this works. Sound good?
Okay. Yeah,
Cool.
sounds great.
So yeah, when you've used it in the past, what did you do to prep your hair? How did it turn out? How long did you wear it? Just like talk me through and your heatless curl journey in general, whatever you want to
Yeah,
share.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I actually was first introduced to heatless curls through Instagram, and I got just this random cheap one before, and I definitely had a learning curve to figure out how to use it because I was putting it in wet hair at first and then learned that you can't do really wet hair for heatless curls because it will never dry and you'll have ramen hair.
Yep.
Um,
Ramen
yeah,
hair. I
learned
haven't
that
heard
the
that
hard way.
before. Ramen hair. I haven't heard that before. That's a really good phrase. I love it. I'm going to use
Yes,
that.
yes, keep it. I kept like down the rabbit hole on Instagram to learn how to use that one better. But it looks really, really, really funky when you wear it. So it's not something you can wear outside of the house.
Yep.
So I, on Prime Day earlier this month, was like, okay, I'm going to get a new one that's brown instead. And the RobeCurls is one of the top ones that came up. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. And I love that it has the wire and that it's like satiny and that it comes in colors that blend in better than this like rainbow. I mean, rainbow is beautiful too, but I was really looking for something I could wear at work and not have to worry about looking crazy.
Yep.
Because I'm an esthetician, so I work around a lot of steam. And if I take my heatless curls out and just wear them with the steam, it just messes up the curls.
Yeah.
So I wanted to be able to wear the curler during work so that in the evening I can just take it out and then have like fresh curls for going out with my boyfriend or going to the movies with friends or something like that. So this is a great solution for that. And I tried it out for the first time this past Saturday.
Okay.
So Friday night, I washed my hair. The next morning, it was dry. I put the robe curler in and I wore it through brunch with my boyfriend so that in later in the evening I could take it out for it was actually my birthday dinner date. And
Oh,
so it was
happy
nice to be able
birthday.
to go out twice with him. Yeah. And while I was wearing it, like it's the brown color, so it blended in pretty well and it just looked like I had this almost milkmaid hairstyle.
Yeah.
And I was able to not feel insecure about having my hair in curlers out in public. And when I took it out, the curls were perfect and beautiful. But then later on during our date, we were taking pictures and like the top of my hair was still curly and pretty, but it was like the lower layers that had straightened out. And because it's kind of humid here, or at least it was that night, it's not usually humid. I'm in LA, but it was
Okay.
abnormally humid that day. And it just started to frizz up. And so I was like, maybe I should have put product in it. Um, I did use some hairspray. Uh, I don't remember which brand, but it was some light hold hairspray, and maybe I just focused on the top instead of the bottom. But usually with my heatless curler that I've used before, I'll use like a gel or a mousse and it'll last a little bit longer, or halfway through the day, I'll put it back in. But one of the things that specifically I wanted to ask you about is how do you achieve a looser curl initially and keep it loose without it completely falling out? Because I love the look of looser, like big flowy waves rather than like the tight spiral
Oh,
curls. Yes. So I'm like, how do I start with the looser waves and then keep them there?
and get it to lock in place for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We can definitely focus on that. So it also, just to like make sure I understand, so you did not add water to your hair when it was dry before
Oh,
putting it in, or did you?
I added a little bit of
Perfect.
water on
Okay.
top. So I put it in and then I twisted it to tighten a little bit and then sprayed a mist of water on top and then probably went at least, I'd say 8 hours between putting it in and taking it out.
Okay, cool. So would recommend starting with dry hair and then lightly dampening ear level down first with the spray bottle so that you're getting like the insides rather than just like spraying it on top, because then it's just like letting
Okay.
the water set where you're hitting like the top of the wrap rather than like the insides of the hair, which you're trying to get to form as well.
Yeah.
So if you spray the insides, that's great. And then a dollop of mousse inside that spray bottle with the water, shake it up and spray it, and that'll totally help in the humid days. Um,
Yeah.
and in terms of mousse, I always recommend like the old school mousse that you find at like a drugstore, like the cheapest find that you can get, like the Garnier Fructis light hold comes in like this, foam bottle that you like nozzle upside
Yeah,
down.
the one that smells really good, like apples or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Those last much longer than anything else you're gonna find at like Sephora these days, at least from like all the plethora ones we've all tried and tested on our end.
Okay.
To totally help with the hold. And yeah,
Yeah,
when
I figured I would need to use more product because I was like, maybe it'll hold, but hairspray is just not enough sometimes.
hairspray is not enough sometimes. And I think also the humidity is so key. It's like if it's not a humid day, you'll be good to go. But if
Mhm.
you're having a humid day in LA, which is like thankfully not that often, you guys get like
Yeah.
perfect weather for this. Um, that's when, yeah, the mousse and stuff really does help out a ton.
Hmm.
Because I was making this back in Puerto Rico where it is extra humid. I'm like, we need mousse in Puerto Rico for sure.
Yeah, I believe it. My mom and my sister were just there for my little sister's graduation gift. And so, yeah, they were talking about how it was humid, but they loved it.
Humid. Yeah. What a lucky little sister. It's a great graduation gift.
Oh yeah, I mean, I got a dinner, she got a vacation to Puerto Rico. It's totally fair.
Fine. We don't have favorites in this family, we swear.
It's okay. She's the baby, so,
It's part of the
it's okay for
territory.
her to be the princess.
Cool. Yeah, and so we can jump into wrapping it now, and I'll give you tips along the way to make it looser. What I'm
Okay.
thinking, if you want to have like that more voluminous curls, I'm gonna grab one more thing for
Okay.
our tutorial because it will help. I don't know if I can do it so well, but let me just grab one more thing and then we'll be good to go. One
Okay.
second. I'll be right back.
All good. No rush.
All right. So, as mentioned, we'll start with like dry hair. We can then lightly dampen it, add like a dollop of mousse. So, like half mousse, half water, shake it up, and then spray. You don't have to
Yeah.
spray your hair.
Focusing on the inside. That's probably something I was missing. It was just not getting any damp.
Yeah, it's really key to get the right amount of damp and to like get it all throughout the inside so it's all setting rather than just like that external layer. That'll totally help your hair to set. And I think for you, that'll be like the biggest solve of the issue that you're
Mhm.
talking about. Um, with in terms
Yeah,
of the
I also have naturally wavy hair, but the inside, like some tendrils will curl, but it's that uneven curl pattern where like some will curl and some won't. Which is part of why I like the heatless curls because it just like evens out my natural waves.
bingo, exactly. And so if we want to jump into wrapping, I like to start by making sure I have the scrunchies on the wrist, just because otherwise I won't have them when I come looking for it. Like, where are they?
Yeah. Yep.
And we'll have our hair parted into two sections and brought up front and brushed
Mhm.
out. And
Yeah.
perfect. Looking good, Elle. Looking good.
Thank you.
Cutie. All right. And then, so I like to start by folding it in half so the ends are even. And then you're going to get that crease right in the middle. You got the wire all along one side. Awesome. And now when we put it on, we want that wire facing forward rather than
Mhm.
backwards. Cool. And then the first step I do is the pigtail. Have you practiced the pigtail? If not, I'll take you through it slowly. This is just to lock it in place so you have your hands free and you can wrap the other side.
I actually haven't practiced that because I've been doing the lazy version of just like clipping with
Clipping it in.
a clip, but it's good to not be reliant on that.
Yes. So for this part, are you a righty or a lefty?
Righty.
Okay, left hand on top.
Okay.
And then with your right hand, you're going to swoop in on the right side, so not the left side. So
Okay.
there you go. Swoop in on the right side and grab all that hair, pull it towards your face and then over the headband. Yeah. So towards your face, over the headband, perfect. And then use the back of your hand to kind of just like, you're just trying to get the end of the headband popped up. So just pop the end up, perfect. And now all you're gonna do is push the end backwards, then forwards, and you're just making it go in a circle. And then kind of give it a
Cute.
little squeeze. So it should feel more tight than like a clip even. And that's kind of helpful when you're wrapping to make sure that your headband's not sliding around and you're getting like a nice secure wrap on the other side. And then yeah, you can do the other side secure too. Beautiful. You nailed it, Elle. Cool. All right. So now we can work on the other side. So we'll grab that front section about 1 inch.
Yeah, I loved your tip about just going about an inch in to keep it forward because I was dealing with my headband just sliding back and it ended up like in the back of my head by the time I woke up. I'm like, this is not where this is supposed to be. And this way it stays cute when I'm wearing it out and about too.
Yep, bingo. You got it. Perfect. So you're good. So we'll do a one and then we'll just add another section right underneath the first and combine it. I feel like you're pro at this, so I don't really, I'm like
Yeah,
watching.
I love doing these.
I'm like, all right, not many tips here for you, but that's okay. Making sure each wrap is touching the last. You're doing a great job. Add a
I
third.
do have a question though. So I've seen in some videos that like they'll grab in the front and wrap back, and then they'll grab from the back, bring it forward and wrap it around.
So it's
So like
almost,
alternating.
so you're like braiding it. You do it this way, then you grab it here, you do it this way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So what I find is it doesn't make enough of a difference for me to recommend it to people. Like it doesn't really get the curl started sooner in the back. And then it also causes a lot of issues when it comes to knotting. Like your hair can get
Mm-hmm.
really tangled pretty easily. Um,
I
so
guess it also complicates things for people who don't know how to braid.
exactly. It also complicates it. So it's a more complicated wrap, and then you can't like twist to tighten it because they're going in opposite directions as well. So you have less like
Yeah.
shape control. So from like, I don't know, from like across the board, I'm like, I don't think it's like enough of a difference that's worthwhile to be recommending it. But go
Okay.
give it a shot. But I haven't like seen it be anything. I'm like, oh yay, we found something great.
Yeah, I was just curious if that affected what kind of curl pattern you get in the end, like if they end up being like looser or tighter, depending on where you're grabbing the hair from.
Got it. So it won't be looser or tighter. What will make that difference is if you're grabbing like smaller sections and you're kind of like tugging it tighter along the way. And then also at this,
Okay.
like if you twist to tighten it one way, you can always twist it the other way to set it looser. So
Okay.
go the opposite way, and that'll set it in a looser curl pattern too.
Hmm.
And that's
And
like
then like
this way. Yeah.
I was gonna say, the size of the chunks that you're grabbing, I imagine that would cause a like a bigger curl. But do you find that that makes it so it doesn't last as long? I always find that my curls last longer if I take smaller sections.
Yeah, they'll last longer if you take smaller sections and
Hmm.
you give it like a little tug while you're wrapping it because you're just making it like extra tight and you're giving it more room for when you tighten it, even after you've made it extra tight, for it to be even tighter.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
tighter you set it, the longer the lasting the curls. if your hair naturally like drops throughout the day, I always like to set mine like more tight because my hair is stick straight. Like it has no
Mhm.
natural wave to it. So it'll last all day, but it's going to fall out throughout the day. Unlike curling irons, my hair is flat within an hour, like it doesn't
Yeah.
last at all. So for you, if you're trying to set it so that it's like more wavy and more loose in that bohemian, like looser, beachier style, would just recommend
Mhm.
not twisting it super tight, but not going too loose because it sounds like your hair is falling anyway throughout the day too. You have like that in
Yeah.
betweener. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Something that I also did in the past that helped is after I took the curls out, instead of doing a hairspray, I've done a gel before. And
Cool.
so I would like, before I even separated the pieces, I would take the whole section after the curler was out and just put a light gel in it and let that dry and then separate the curls. And that seemed to help too. But I think my issue is I've also just run out of products, so I should just get back to that.
That's interesting. I haven't heard the gel before, but we'll give it a try. I'm gonna give gel a try
Yeah.
for sure. Cool. Awesome. And then we can just repeat on the other side. So we'll unwrap it, straighten it out.
I sometimes wrap it going the opposite direction on this side because my natural curls, I think, mostly go in one direction. So if I do like this side going away from my face and this side going toward my face, it's it almost stays better that way. I don't know. Maybe that's just my hair.
Super interesting. No, that could make sense because like curl patterns are different throughout the hair.
Yeah.
Like it's not the same. Like random chunks of your hair will totally change shape. And you're like, why? Why is it always
Yeah.
this way? So that makes sense. Okay, so if we want to flip it then, I'll follow you on this one. So you're going backwards and then over. Cool.
Yeah. And then I also like doing it this way because throughout the like days that I have my hair curly, I sometimes change my part. And if I curl all the curls in the same direction, then no matter which way I part my hair, the curls will like match each other instead of getting all wonky.
Interesting. That makes sense. That totally makes sense. Cool.
And I did this the first time because I noticed that my hair was curling one direction. And I also remembered that with curling iron hair tutorials, they sometimes talk about the direction you curl your hair. And they're like, oh, for more of a retro curls look, you'll want to curl it all in the same direction. I'm like, okay, I'll try it. And so with heatless curls, this is the equivalent of curling it in the same direction.
Yep. Perfect.
And honestly, heatless curls has basically changed my hair life because I have not used my curling iron since. And the curls from this, they're actually better than the curls from the curling iron. It just, I'm like, how did I ever spend 45 minutes on my hair before?
I know it blows my mind too. That's why I became obsessed with it. It's same thing. I mean, my curls would not last. It was frying my hair. It would take me forever
Mm-hmm.
to use. And then I'm like,
Yeah.
how is this what we've been doing for 100 years? Literally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man.
And the whole frying your hair thing, I discovered last year that I have PCOS, and so my hair already falls out really easily. And so heatless curls was my solution to just do everything I can to keep my hair as healthy as possible for as long as possible.
Yep.
Um, yeah, and I just love how much it saves time. So I'm a big fan. And as an esthetician, I talk to clients and make recommendations for things all the time. And so I have definitely recommended heatless curls many times. And when I wear this at work, I feel like it'll be a good talking point too. So I'll be referring you guys a lot.
Thank you. We so appreciate that. That's how we grew, all word of mouth. So thank you so
Yeah,
much, Elle. It means a lot.
of
Awesome.
course.
So what I'm going to show you now is a couple other little like extra tips. You don't necessarily have to follow along, and I'm sorry my hair is not curled because it would be better if my hair was curled. But
That's okay.
basically, Let's see if anything has set in 2 seconds. No, it has not. All right. So when you take it out, you already sound like you know about like taking the small sections and then curling them so you can make more curls, right? So
Yeah.
one thing you could do if you want the curls to last like extra long, and this is what the like bridal salon stylists do if you're getting your hair done for like wedding day. If you have like a small comb like this, just kind of like doing like a back comb, like one or two
Ah,
combs, where the curl, like right underneath where the curl set. So I don't know, I'm trying to like do an example. My hair is so flat. But if the
that's okay.
like here and there's like a little like, indent, you're basically just doing that and it's going to keep the rest of the curl intact and kind of lock it in
Mhm.
place. So that's one thing that like all the, bridal hair salon stylists do and recommend doing. So that'll like lock your curls in. That's what they do for like game day, when you need your hair to last for
Yes, a little bit of teasing usually. I could
time.
see how that texture would help it to stay longer because then the curl has something to lock onto rather than just smoothing itself out.
Exactly, exactly. And it's just like one brush up. I wouldn't like overdo it because I don't want us to hurt our hair by any means. And then the other thing, since you're mentioning you're like out of product, this is like in my mind, like the holy grail of hairsprays. Have
Oh,
you
fun.
seen
The
these?
got to be glued. I've
Yeah.
seen it. It's actually so I've done some wig styling before, and in the wig styling world, that's the number one recommended hairspray too.
I had no idea. Okay, cool. Like I learned about it through like the Mohawk styling world. Like that's where they're using it to make the Mohawks.
Yeah,
I'm like, so okay, keep it like way far out, tiny bit, but it's the only one that I found that I'm like, this really locks. Like being in Puerto Rico
yeah.
and stuff, I'm like, what's gonna make this stuff actually
That's a good reminder. I just need to get restocked on the things that work.
the things that
I
work?
think it already worked in like 2 seconds. I think it's because I'm on like day 3 hair. It's my wash day. So I've just got some rosemary oil in it and I'm gonna just wear it up to work and then wash it when I'm back.
Perfect. This sounds awesome, Al. Cool. But yeah, those are my only remainder tips. But I think your hair will be perfect for this. And it's just a matter of like getting it the right amount of damp. That's key. LA weather is just the best for heatless styling.
Yeah.
The nice dry
Yeah.
air.
And I also want to try like doing the twisting to loosen it because I think that's something that I haven't really experimented with a lot is after putting the curls or the hair around the curler, doing the whole twisting thing. And maybe I was doing it too tight and I could loosen it a little bit. And then with the product, I'll see how long the waves last.
Awesome. Awesome. Sounds good. If you have any other questions, you can always sign up for another one of these. Like, always happy to help and like shoot some other ideas around and give you other ways to wrap it. But yeah, I think you're in a good spot right now. You're really good.
Cool. Thank you so much.
My
This
pleasure,
has been
Al.
fun for me. So I
Me
appreciate your
too.
time.
Me too. So nice to meet you, Al. Have a wonderful day.
You too. Thank you.
Bye, honey.
Bye.